Yo, 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 yo. Today we're going to talk about Resident Evil Remake again. My thoughts on this Nemesis character, how they will make him interesting this time around. But before I get into that, there was a comment that or there's a reply to mine that I've made under a post, and I was talking about the issue shouldn't be that Nemesis doesn't have his grenade launcher this time around. It should be that they won't have multiple endings, mercenary mode, and player choices throughout the game. Which is my last video. I pretty much elaborate on why that made the game fun and why it should come back. And not only come back, should be better or advanced upon than what we got before. However, I've gotten a comment from GamerThumbTV, Fabian. Not knocking a man. I respect him. But we don't have to agree on everything, He pretty much said that the endings in the original Resident Evil 3 game were pretty much minor changes. They really weren't that much different than the previous one. I'm like, okay. I was thinking, but I couldn't respond to it because it was a goddamn community post. You can't respond on a community post. When they post, they can respond to you, but you can't respond to them. So the content creator I'm talking about. The content creator can respond to you, but you can't respond to them, nor can any other users respond to you on your comment. They can like it, but they can't respond to it. I wish YouTube would fucking stop that and have it like the regular comment sections on the videos where you could respond and shit to each other. So if I could have responded to it, I would have said that would have been more reason for them to add multiple endings this time around. They can expand on it to the point where they would all be looking different. They wouldn't have minor changes to those endings. And he said about the mercenary mode, he didn't comment about the multiple choices throughout the game. He didn't comment on they must have forgot or he doesn't care. He said about the mercenary mode not being in the game. He said pretty much there's another game that Capcom is coming out with, or I don't know if it came out. I'm not familiar with this game. It's called Mercenaries or something like that. He was pretty much said that this game is the answer to there being no mercenary mode. He said he thinks that's what it is. He's like assuming. He does think it sucks, but he's not really bothered by it because there's another game that deals with that mode. So, okay, I can see what he's saying on that part. But the thing about the multiple endings part is really that's where me and him part on that one alone. So I figured, hey, when you come out with another title, come out with a remake of a title, it's supposed your goal is supposed to make it better than the previous title. That should be the fucking basic goal. So add the multiple endings, but make them different. Don't make them minor changes like the first version of the game did. It's that simple. Just make it better. And the replay value that I was stressing in my last video about Resident Evil Remake, the replay value should be a reason why you should be a draw. You know what I'm saying? I thought that developers was focusing on that, making sure the player will come back and play it again instead of just beating the game once and not coming back to it or having no reason to play it again because you beat it once already. And multiple endings do that. Like, oh, I want to play it again to get this ending. And this time I got this one ending. I want to play it again and get this ending. Oh, it's the third ending too. I want to play it again. New Game Plus is cool, but it can only go so far. Because you got the New Game Plus, which I'm assuming that they're going to have, where you can keep all your fucking ammo and shit, and you can start another game with stronger weapons. Maybe they may add a New Game Plus or something like that. That'd be cool, but that's not. It's replay, but it's not like multiple endings. Multiple endings is more of a replay reason as opposed to keeping all your weapons and shit. Come on, and all your fucking items that you had when you beat the game the first time around or the second time, whatever. So I don't know, man. But yeah, so let's talk about Nemesis. I feel Because I was just watching the video. I just subscribed to him. It's, I can't remember the YouTube channel name. I never heard of him before. I watched one video which prompted me to make this one. He was talking about the origins of Nemesis. This theory, it's not based off canon or comics or nothing like that. But it was a comic. Speaking of which, it was a comic. I think it was a Chinese comic where they made up an origin. He was like, used to be a boxer or some shit. Something like that. That's why he's so big and strong. He was like a wrestler or some shit. A boxer. I think he was a wrestler or a boxer. Or MMA fighter. I think he was an MMA fighter. And he was, I don't know if he volunteered to become Nemesis or not, but he ended up becoming Nemesis and shit. So, but I was thinking that would be a good idea for the remake to do. You know what I'm saying? They should have it where we know, because people been wondering who the fuck was Nemesis before it became Nemesis. Some people are wondering that. Enough to people make videos on it and comment on it and have a lot of traction to that video, because people are wondering, like, was he did he used to be a fucking STARS member? Was he on the police, same police force that Jill was? Who was this guy? Was he related to Jill? Maybe Nemesis was an uncle? Something, or a best friend, or maybe he was a close friend to Chris Redfield and he was killed, or he was took by STARS or kidnapped and they turned him to Nemesis and shit. I mean, the possibilities are endless on what he is. That would make the game at least interesting to play. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, come on, man. I mean, that's the least they can do since we're not getting multiple endings, player choice throughout the game, and no mercenary mode. That's the least they can do. Give us let it be revealed who Nemesis was. Nemesis himself is not going to tell her, because all he can say is STARS. That's all he can fucking say. He doesn't know who the fuck he used to be anyway. He's just some type of fucking creature. Let's have somebody else in the game tell him. Maybe it could add a character. It's a remake after all. You can add a character, and that character's basic sole purpose is to tell Jill who Nemesis was, or Jill could run into a certain room in the game, and it's not optional. You're going to eventually run into this room, and you will find out who the test subject was that became Nemesis. It could be anybody. I'm making somebody that's a bombshell or shocking. Like, oh my God. Like I said before, maybe it's an uncle of Jill. Man, he was like a fucking police officer in STARS. That's why she became a police officer, because her uncle was. And somehow they kidnapped him and they made him Nemesis. Or he can be maybe another STARS member or something like that, you know? So it's like something, you know, like who Nemesis was. And maybe they could show you a flashback on when he was captured or kidnapped and he was dragged against his will. They fucking drugged him up and made him go to sleep. And then they experimented on him. He was going through pain and shit. And he became Nemesis and shit. You know, and all that shit. So it's like holy shit, and then it would make the game, it would make the storyline more poignant to us, and we can feel what the fuck is going on. But as you're playing the game, it's like holy shit, because Jill was like, oh my God, I know who you are now. I don't want to kill you, but I got to. You know what I'm saying? It would make it more personal. It would make it more harder for Jill to kill this thing that's trying to kill her. But she got to remind herself, this is not so and so no more. This is another. That person is dead, right? It will make it more interesting. That's the least they could fucking do. Since they don't want to add multiple endings. You know. So I'm thinking like, there you go. You know, it's like, come on. That's what I would do. It's like, that's the least they can do. But you know, they have no match. They just want it's a cash grab. That's what I believe Resident Evil 3 is. In fact, I'm not going to be surprised that it's going to be worse or people may find more issues with this game as opposed to Resident Evil 2 Remake. I'm not gonna be surprised if people like Resident Evil 2 Remake better than this one. I'm not gonna be surprised if the masses or the player in general is gonna prefer the remake of 2 over remake of 3. I'm not gonna be surprised. Because if money is the main issue of or a cash grab, or just they want to have, oh, I was involved in making Resident Evil 3 Remake, I'm gonna put that on my resume. Oh yeah, and all that shit. If there was no passion involved with this game, people like me are gonna pick it up, and it's gonna be revealed online. It was like, wow, they might say, oh, I enjoyed the game, but I felt it lacked in a lot of places that 2 had. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Don't be surprised if you see videos popping up on YouTube like that. And if I find enough of them, I'm gonna make a video on it myself. I don't want to find just a few of them and shit. I want to find enough of them like people just like, holy shit, this game is not even as good as the remake of 2. You know. I hope that's not the case, because goddamn, we got this fucking transsexual looking like Jill, this tranny Jill. We have no fucking multiplayer. We have no mercenary mode, no player choice in the middle of the games and shit. It's gonna be like a one just walk through game and shit. You know what I'm saying? That you're gonna put down and not pick up again. At least in Resident Evil 2 Remake, you got to play as Leon and Claire. You got to play 2 different fucking people. I mean, I ain't talking about temporary like fucking Resident Evil 3 did. You only play the character temporary and then it switched back to Jill. No, they each had their own campaign. Claire had her own campaign, and Leon had his own campaign. At least you had that. And hell, Resident Evil 2 is better received than Resident Evil 3. We talking about the original games now. Don't be surprised. I'm not gonna be surprised whether if that repeats with the remakes. 2 may be more well received as opposed to remake of 3, just like it was before. Because personally, Resident Evil 2, the original, was my very first Resident Evil game. I mean, my mother bought me and my brother a PlayStation for Christmas. And we had like, how many games? I think it was 2. Was it 2 games? No, it was 3 games. It was Mortal Kombat, one of the Mortal Kombat games. Then it was she bought us Tekken 3. And then she bought us Resident Evil 2. The DualShock version. So, I never heard of Tekken. I never heard of Resident Evil. And I never heard, of course I heard of Mortal Kombat. So, that was my intro into Resident Evil and Tekken. Tekken 3 was my first Tekken game. I got into Tekken. And then Resident Evil 2 was my intro into the Resident Evil series. You know. I mean, I wouldn't play Resident Evil 1, of the PlayStation version, because the dialogue is fucking terrible. I can't get through the dialogue. I just can't play. I just can't stand. I don't want to hear that shit while I'm playing the game and shit. You know what I'm saying? The dialogue is really, the voice acting and the dialogue sucks. Oh my God, it's fucking awful. Oh. 2 was when Resident Evil 2 came out, holy shit. Miles ahead. At least they acted like they gave a fuck on who they was playing, you know. So basically, that's all I gotta say, you know, at least make, you know, that's the least they could do, you know what I'm saying, about the Nemesis, you know, just, oh well. You know, I have my theories on who the fuck he could be. I was thinking that he was an ex-wrestler. That's why he's so fucking big and shit. And he actually volunteered to become Nemesis. You know what I'm saying? He was at the point now in his life where he got divorced. He turned to drinking, and his career in wrestling was over because he got injured. And but that don't mean shit once they pump you up with that T virus. Injury don't mean shit. So he pretty much volunteered. I mean, let's say he had a relative that worked at Umbrella. You know what I'm saying? And he was asking like he's like, so you experiment, man, and his relative was pretty much telling him, say, we use human test subjects and shit. You know what I'm saying? And fuck it, let's say he was working there. You know, he was, like I say, he was ex wrestler. He had no career in wrestling, so he begged his uncle to have him to help him work at the. He wanted to work with his uncle with the pharmaceutical company, because that's what Umbrella was supposedly was, but it was much more than that, of course, you know. But and he ended up stumbling upon their dark secrets and shit. He found out that they was using human test subjects to make these fucking monsters that happened back in Resident Evil 1 and shit. You know what I'm saying? He was like, holy fuck, you know. And instead of being afraid and going to the police, he was like, fuck, man, I want to volunteer. You know what I'm saying? My life fucking sucks. You know what I'm saying? Because when he first worked, let's say when he first worked at Umbrella, he was still married to his wife. He was already tore down because he couldn't wrestle no more. He was already fucked up over that. And then his wife and him ended up getting a divorce. She was tired of him and all that. So she left, split up, and then she married this other guy. And he was still working at the company. This happened prior to Resident Evil 1. And by the time Resident Evil 2 rolled around, he was already set up to receive the experiment. And it was like, well, they was like, we have to warn you, if you go through this, you're gonna lose who you were. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna lose your memory and shit. He was like, I don't care. What do I got to live for? You know what I'm saying? And he volunteered to become Nemesis, the new advanced version of the T monster that you saw in Resident Evil 1. You know what I'm saying? He was the Nemesis project. And he became Nemesis like that. So it's something like that. You know what I'm saying? There's at least give Nemesis a background. That's what I'm saying. They should do with a remake at least. But other than that, man, this is Why Chromosome signing out. Those are my thoughts on this Resident Evil remake shit, and thought I'd update you on the responses that I gotten from GamerThumb. If you're not subscribed to him, I suggest you do. If you like gaming streams, he talks about, if you're a fan of Castlevania, he has like a 6-part Castlevania timeline. GamerThumbTV, okay? I'm gonna try to put it as a hashtag, so you can easily just click on the hashtag. You could go straight to the search where you can find this channel. His name is Fabian, and he also did a Resident Evil timeline. I think it's about 6 parts. Very detailed. He got game footages in there. The best timeline on YouTube, no question. He did a damn good job. Put a lot of work into it, and it shows. I mean, this guy is he's getting better and better every month. His channel is steady growing and everything, you know. And his live streams, gaming streams are really, really fucking good. You know, so if that's something you think you enjoy, check out GamerThumbTV, YouTube GamerThumbTV. His thumbnail is him giving it's supposed to be his face. It's like a cartoon. He has his hat on, his trademark cap, and he's like this, giving thumbs up. It says GamerThumbTV. That's him. And other than that, this is Wild Chromosome signing out. Peace and love.